apologize to everyone for our late start tonight, but well, good evening. Welcome to the Town of Auburn Planning Board meeting of Tuesday, September 8, 2015. We now call to order at 7:09 p.m. This meeting is being recorded and broadcast by Local Access Programming. Is there anyone here in the audience tonight that is recording tonight's meeting? Seeing none, please rise and join us in a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The first item on the agenda this evening is a discussion with applicant Bill George of Wingspan Properties. Bill, if you want to approach the table, have a seat.
I'm Bill George from Wingspan Properties. We're the developer that built out Pollingbeer Road subdivision. It has been completed and we submitted a layout plan to the Board of Selectmen for inclusion at the next town meeting for the town to take over the road. We worked with Matt and Bill Coyle from the Highway Department. We've completed all the checklist items that Bill gave us, and the road project is completely done. And there's nothing outstanding. We paid there was a fee that we have to pay for the, based on the volume of the detention basin. That was given to Matt a couple weeks ago, so I believe we're 100% complete.
Let Matt comment and then might answer some questions for the board.
Through the chair, we received a letter from the town engineer today stating that based on their review, the term of the subdivision has been completed in conformance with the approved plans. And I also understand that he had a punch list and you guys went through the punch list together and
That's correct.
ironed out all those items as well. So Mr. George is here before us today for our recommendation to the Board of Selectmen to have the road accepted at the town meeting, as well as for us today is the request to release the responsibility, the revocable letter of credit for the bond for the project.
I'd make that motion. I don't see anything to discuss. Anybody else says it's all right?
Second?
Okay. Is that good? What was the motion? It's I think a double motion to make the recommendation to the Board of Selectmen and
To accept the road.
Accept the road
separate motion.
and release the bond.
Release the bond. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll put a letter together for the select board. They'll have the next meeting.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the planning board and Matt for all their assistance, and Bill Coyle. It's been a pleasure working on it.
Good.
Thank you very
Said
much.
you did a real nice job.
Thank you.
Hope to spread the word. So as I mentioned Paul earlier, I'd like to ask for a motion to move the Town of Auburn's application for zoning bylaw draft review up in the agenda, because there's a potential that it may impact our future meetings, which would impact potential continuances that we might issue. So, anybody offer that motion?
I will offer it. It's under conditions that we do get an opportunity before we go before town meeting to present information in legal case law saying that it's totally illegal.
I think everyone will have their opportunity to comment.
The marijuana, medical marijuana. It's illegal under federal and state law.
Do you want to do a second so we can start the
Okay, what was the
conversation?
It's a motion to move the agenda item.
Move the agenda up so we can get
We're
that out
gonna
of the
discuss
way.
it now.
Discussing now.
Yeah, right. You said you didn't want to miss it. I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Okay.
So, thank you, Mr. Chair. The reason to move this up is because since the planning board asked to implement a moratorium instead of the draft.
We need to open the hearing.
No, we have to. Yeah, I know the ZBA does, it's actually reopened, but we're not closed. So, since speaking with the Attorney Generals today, they believe that we must do a separate item for the moratorium as opposed to the bylaw amendment. Therefore, in order for us to get this on fall town meeting, with the schedule as it is now, we would have to change our meeting date in October from the second Tuesday to the first Tuesday. And the reason we're bringing that up now is because if any of the items, public hearings tonight are continued into October, we may want to take note to consider them for the first Tuesday of October, that being October 6th. So, while the board still continues to work on the bylaw, to make the recommendation to recommend the moratorium to the Board of Selectmen for town meeting consideration would have to occur tonight in order for it to make town meeting. So, while we can continue to work on the bylaw, the reason for this moratorium is so we can continue to work on the bylaw and go through the information such as you brought today, Mr. Kosky. I would like to at least tackle the moratorium vote so we can get that on for town meeting as soon as possible.
Well, we need that on town meeting,
We do.
because if the town meeting is going to reject the thing, they're not going to do it at that meeting, they're going to have to do it at the spring meeting.
Right.
Right, so this is basically just the motion to allow us to begin the moratorium, which gives us another year to discuss.
Prevent information why we want the moratorium.
Right. So,
And I provided a draft in your packets, just if anyone had any issues or questions about it. It was recommended to us from Attorney General's office as one of the moratoriums passed by different times, which is blueprint today.
And I forget where it was,
It's Burlington.
Burlington, smart people.
So,
All right, so the motion's made.
well, you making the motion
Yeah.
to
recommend this.
recommend to the Board of Selectmen?
Moratorium.
That we have the moratorium, and I'll provide information why we need the moratorium.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
And as a connected piece to that, would the board be receptive to holding their first meeting in October on October 6th rather than October 13th?
And to serve something called Manhattan. All right, I would move that we change the meeting from second Tuesday in October to the first,
Right.
to accommodate us getting this thing on the town meeting in the fall.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 So the next meeting is October 6th.
October 6th.
Well, the second.
Right.
We all set on that?
Unless the board has further discussion on the bylaw draft, we hadn't put any more work to it because we're just focusing on the moratorium.
It makes sense to me.
I don't know, Larry. I know Wendy had a lot of input as well.
So the next applicant would be Welcome Homes, who I don't know if Lee is here today. Welcome Homes is applying for a special permit, and because we don't have 4 members, we don't have a quorum for the special permit application. So I think Matt had quick informational update for the public record, and then
Just that, the thing, through the chair, we got a peer review in, and I informed the applicant they'll be paying for it, and then as soon as we receive the check, the peer review will begin.
Do we have the peer review yet?
Yes, we got the quote in.
Oh, we got the
Did he-
quote. We haven't done the peer review.
No, until we receive payment.
Oh, that payment's good.
Did he have to sign anything?
No.
No, because we had to continue.
Right, his continuance from his last meeting on August 25th carried over for 30 days, and it would last up until the September 22nd meeting.
And one of the conditions was that we get the peer review too.
Yes.
So I would imagine that once the peer review comes in, then it's very concerning. Okay, well, so that takes
So-
care of that.
looking for a motion to continue this application to our next meeting on September 22nd.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, second?
All those in favor?
All right.
Next application is the Masad Family LLC, Simon Auto Group, requesting a site plan modification. You guys want to come on up and let us know who you are?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the planning board. For the record, my name is Tim Williams with Allen Major Associates, and we're here representing the Masad Family LLC, Diamond Chevrolet, for a site plan approval modification. You got the plans back in 2008. 51 Faith Ave essentially received site plan approval.
Before you guys go too far, I just want to make a quick kind of procedural note. Because what you're applying for, the site plan modification, you require 3 affirmative votes for passage. So you require all 3 of the members here to vote affirmatively in order to move forward. There's also the opportunity for another member to use the Mullen rule to vote in. That would only be allowed if they were here for only missed 1 meeting, and it looks as if 1 board member may miss 2. So we just want to make you guys aware of that before opening the hearing. Did I say that appropriately? Sorry.
Well, I would leave that up to the client. Essentially what they're saying is they may not, we have to get a 100% vote across the board, as opposed to one of the members not approving the project. So whether you choose to move forward or not, that's going to have to be your call.
Furthermore, if I may, Mr. Chairman, this was going out to peer review for, as we had discussed, so that peer review price came in, but we haven't had the review, so this wouldn't be closed tonight, regardless. So I think you'd be, in my opinion, so long as our next member shows up at the next meeting, you'd still have 4 voters at the next meeting as well.
And the peer review would be in.
And the peer review would be in by then as well.
Okay.
So it's entirely your decision. We just wanted to make you aware of that at least before the
Well, I think we rely on Matt, whether we're safe to move forward tonight.
But technically, you do have a quorum,
Okay.
so it's your decision.
All right. So in that case, do I need a motion to open the hearing?
I'll make a motion to open hearing.
Second?
All those in favor of opening the hearing? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. So
Again, for the record, my name is Tim Williams with Allen & Major, and we're here representing the Masad Family LLC, 51 Faith Ave, which is Diamond Chevrolet site. Back in 2008, the project received site plan approval, and then they went back in 2010 for site plan approval modification, and I don't know if you all have the record plan. I printed out the site plan for the 2010 site plan modification, and if I can submit this for everyone to have a copy of it, because there's some pertinent information on this that's relative to the site plan modification that's before you tonight. Essentially, what we're proposing to do is, again, I'll reference back to the 2010 plan, is demo the existing truck showroom and restripe the parking lot. The building has undergone some rehab. They've added some, and I'm not familiar with how the building was laid out before, but they've essentially converted the building and upgraded it. So it's still a car dealership, and they've added three bays to the end of the site. So what we're proposing to do is restripe the parking lot essentially, 1 for the intended uses and 2 for vehicle display. Back in 2010 under the site plan modification, I believe they were required to have 51 spaces based on the site uses, and that includes the truck showroom, and they had a total of 59 total spaces on the site. Under this proposal, with the truck showroom demoed out and the proposed building area proposed, we used a similar methodology where we counted the car dealership as retail space, and we've included, which is 1 space per 180 square feet of net floor area, 1 space per employee on the largest shift, and 1 space per repair bay. So doing the math out, we're required to have 71 total parking spaces on the site, and that's what we're proposing, 71 total parking spaces. And those are your standard parking spaces. What we've also proposed is 53 vehicle display areas. Again, it's a car dealership. So on the site, outside of what's required per zoning for the parking and the uses of the building, there's also a component for vehicle display as well. As part of the overall project, we're going to be upgrading the sewer system. Right now it goes to holding tanks and a septic system. We're eliminating that. We're bringing that up. We'll be putting in a low pressure sewer system, which will pump up to 50 Faith Ave, which is a gravity system, which eventually ties into another pump station, which ends up going down Faith Ave. In the plan set, we've also upgraded the water service to the building. And what I did was I packaged all the plans that we've generated over the course of a year together into one set, so you have a full record of that. I know the water department has the water connection plan, but the planning board didn't have a copy of it, so we packaged that all together. That work's been done. The sewer work is yet to be done. As part of the overall site plan as well, we'll be upgrading what I'll call the storefront. We'll be adding 3 handicap spots. Again, that's required per the ADA requirements with appropriate signage. And then we're also going to, because the site wouldn't meet ADA requirements, there's a proposed grading plan in there to bring the elevation of the front of the storefront up so these spaces meet ADA requirements. There's an egress point in, I believe it's right in through here, which is right the direct line for the ADA parking. The plan itself is in front of the Conservation Commission based on its proximity to the flagged wetlands out there. I believe that they're in that process now, issuing a request for determination on that. I'm not quite sure where that stands, and that's being handled by another consultant. One of the things you'll notice on the plan too is the existing paved area is actually outside the property line. It's into the Mass Highway DOT right-of-way. We're not proposing to touch that or remove it, strictly restripe the existing parking lot so all the striping meets the zoning and the proper setbacks. This pavement will remain in place until the DOT decides that they don't want it on their land anymore. So that being said, it's really a pretty straightforward project. Again, eliminating of the historical truck showroom, restriping the parking lot, bringing it up into conformance with zoning, and redoing the storefront to bring it into ADA compliance.
So all your parking spaces with a show or inventory will remain within your property line?
That's correct. That's correct.
If I remember, you had a letter from the DOT saying that you could leave that on their property, that paved area.
I'm not familiar with that
I
letter.
believe there is, I'm not, I'd have to double check on
I
that.
thought I remember it, I wasn't on the board at that time, but I thought I remembered. I think they had a letter, the DOT allowed them to leave that on that property.
Does the town have any comment before we
Aside from the peer review, which we discussed, I have 2 quotes in.
Who are they from?
They're from Graves Engineering and Bowler Engineering. A 3rd request was sent to VHB, but that did not come in. Based on cost and the familiarity with the project, I would recommend that Graves Engineering be used here.
What are the prices?
Their cost, considering the familiarity of the project, was $900, and Bowler Engineering, having not worked on this project in the past, was $5,000.
Oh, wow.
So I would recommend the Graves Engineering with the permission of the applicant for them to conduct a peer review. But I would also defer to the building inspector for any further town comment on the project.
My department supports everything they're doing. They're tying in, they're abandoning the old septic system, they're tying into town sewer. All the floor drains will be tied into oil water separators. I think it's a great project.
They've done a great job there to begin with. Everything is great. The only thing I would have liked to see that road go straight across and abandon that other.
So would we.
Yeah. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the problem was you had to replicate some wetlands.
We're working on it.
Well,
Trying.
if you had that road, I bet you could take your wetlands there and extend that where the road is, and you'd have plenty of land to put replication in there if you eliminated the road.
We're trying to replicate down in the bottom now. That's what Glenn Kowalski's doing now.
Yeah,
That's a much longer conversation.
Yeah.
yeah.
So you guys are aware typical process would be that we send it out for peer review. Once we got all of the comments on the peer review acknowledged, the board would then address.
That's more than acceptable. It's again, it's a pretty straightforward project. We wouldn't see any issues with going off for peer review.
Looks very good. We just wait for the peer review.
So,
Close the hearing.
well, the request for a continuance is that
Oh, yeah, okay, well,
if the applicant agrees.
That's That is acceptable. What's the is it, in his proposal, is there a standard turnaround time for when we expect to,
I work pretty well with them, and I hope to have this before the next meeting.
for the next meeting?
Yeah,
Because
certainly.
normally what we would do is address every single one of his comments and then get the
Right.
plans and a review memo back to you prior to the next planning board.
Right.
Right.
So you guys are aware we have a internal deadline of the Thursday before the meeting?
That's correct.
So we want to receive anything that you want to have heard before that time.
So we'd like to be able to read it before we vote on it.
Yep. No, that's our intent, is to, we would spin it around within days of getting it from him.
And just through the chair, just seeing the suggested budget for this comparison to some other projects, I suggest there's not as much need or for intensive review as some other projects.
Yeah,
Everything
I
looks
agree.
good, actually.
So,
Once again, you're just improving the property again.
That's all. It's really taking the building down and restriping the parking lot based over what you see out there today.
so look for a motion to continue the hearing until...
I'll make a
our
motion to continue the
meeting on
hearing
19th.
until our next meeting. Next meeting will give enough time.
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Alright.
So when would we get when do we have to drop everything off to you?
If you could drop off a check tomorrow, and get them started tomorrow.
Very good. Thank you very much. Thank you.
There's a
guys.
continuous form for me to do, just to sign real quick. If you wouldn't mind.
And it's a nice business to have in town.
Well, thank you very much. Get right on about the wetlands, so.
Yeah, I would think that you'd be able to expand there and do something over there. That would be, improve the property, improve the...
Oh, yeah, the road's a mess.
Matt, you don't need me.
So if anything gets continued tomorrow, or you
You have no issue for it? No. See you guys go.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Well,
Not
thanks.
everyone, just that one. Just because it's on. Alright, so, the next application is Wendy's Restaurant requesting a site plan modification. Get a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Second? Yeah?
Second.
Alright, all those in favor?
I tried to eat there today. It's gone.
All those in favor?
Come
Alright. Okay, the applicant, introduce yourself. and-
Same thing with the open hearing, continue 3 unanimous votes. Just make it work.
Oh, okay, yeah, good point. So similar to the last application, we just want to make you aware as well that with only 3 members here, you need a unanimous decision from the board in order to have approval. Or another member would have to utilize the Mullen rule, which allows them to watch the videotape of the meeting and be able to vote on it in the future. So just want to make you aware of that, and it's your decision if you want to continue or wait until the next one.
I'd like to continue. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, I don't want to speak for anybody, but
I'd like to proceed.
I'd like to proceed, yeah.
Alright, so we've already opened the hearing, so if you want to make your
Okay,
introductions
great.
and then your presentation.
Hi, good evening. My name's Anthony Donato with Bowler Engineering. And as you're aware, you drove by the Wendy's, it is closed. They've got a building permit to do a renovation, interior renovation, and bring it up to, well, they're in the process of modernizing a bunch of their stores in the area. You've probably seen them. I think I drove by down one here, and I think is up the road, there's a newer Wendy's store. And as part of those renovations, they usually like to add like an outdoor eating area in front of the stores. It's a seasonal seating area, it's a patio with tables, and it's 16 seats will be up front in front of the store. Also, as part of that work, they will be adding a vestibule just to prevent cold drafts in the winter from people walking in and out and then losing the air conditioning. It's usually very uncomfortable to sit next to these doors, so they like to add a vestibule. And they are proposing to add some canopies over the order board menu, the pickup window, and the drive-through window. And again, that's just to protect their customers in the event of inclement weather and the rain. No one gets wet. So the big thing is obviously the patio, and there's 2 spaces up here in the front that we're proposing to remove. And the patio will go in here along with some additional grass landscape area. We did a review of the zoning bylaws, and it turns out there's only 2 handicap spots on the site right now, but I guess current requirements that the town of Auburn a little bit more stringent than the state. They need 3 accessible spots, so what we propose to do is add a 3rd spot next to the 2 over here where they are existing. So overall, with the inclusion of the 5-foot island required for the accessible space, we're losing 3 spaces overall. But as you do a parking analysis with the 1 parking space per 3 seats and 1 parking per employee during the peak shift, Wendy's is required to have 43 spaces, and currently there are 50 parking spaces that will be available, so we exceed the requirement. With regards to, so I guess that's it. With regards to the patios, and outdoor seated seasonal, like when the restaurant closes and patio closes.
There's gonna be a roof over it?
No, there will be umbrellas that they take in every night, but other than, there won't be any structure. It's just a paver or some kind of concrete scored padding or something on top of the concrete, or colored concrete. So if you have any questions about
The only letter we had was about blowing trash.
Yeah, so we received a letter, the applicant see this from,
yes, Matthew actually brought it to my attention last week during the departmental review, and last week the construction manager from Wendy's was here. He couldn't make it tonight because he's traveling tomorrow, but we actually drove by the site afterwards and we talked about it. And one of the things, we talked to the landscaper already about this and told him to stop doing that. He's actually volunteered. They're going to have their landscaping people clean up any debris on the other side. And one thing that we kind of did is we walked up along this property line. And this is really heavily vegetated as it is, but there's a section right here of about 25 feet where, as you can see, it's kind of exposed. It's kind of open to the cemetery next door. So we're proposing.
Rebuild it and fill it?
Yeah, we're gonna knock it down, put a concrete wall 6 foot high. But no, actually, we're just gonna propose put some shrubs in front of it. I think we're proposing some inkberries. No, yews. I'm sorry.
It's probably illegal to touch the stone wall, I would imagine.
Can't touch boundary
Oh,
walls.
that's a boundary.
Right. So they're putting they'll be putting them in front of the wall, just as a visual barrier, so no one's going to see it
You'll plant the yews and...
on Wendy's property.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, that looks good. Make a lot of sense to satisfy them.
You should ask that the police, the cemetery on a regular basis or every other time he comes, just to make sure that there is no trash that goes in there.
Okay, you're certainly asking
In
that.
other words, send one of your employees all the way, walk up and down, pick up trash if it says Wendy's on it.
Okay, sure, that's reasonable.
just note that it's not on the plan that
I
we have
did.
in front of us.
What?
This is not on the plan to do.
Vegetation, is that, do we need that on here?
It could be submitted with a
Condition that,
An
yeah.
amendment, put it on a condition, yeah.
Okay. Does the town have any comment before we get?
I do not. The reason this came forth is because it was a change from impervious. It was unknown at the time, all without the review to find out it was actually a reduction. And they're taking out the 2 parking spaces, still meeting the minimum requirements, and increasing the ADA.
Yep, that addresses the wall.
And everything
Looks pretty good.
on my end looked good.
All right, so what do you need?
Well,
Motion to close or public comment?
either of, well, seeing no public hearing, comment, either a motion to close the hearing and now a motion for...
Motion to close the hearing.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And then a motion to approve the site plan modification.
I'll make-
With amendments?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
I'll make that motion.
With the amendment that the additional shrubberies be shown on the
Shrubs will
final
be
plan.
planted on the Wendy's side of the wall.
Yep.
Just ask them, keep it a little bit of distance from the wall, at least a foot and a half.
Yeah.
4 feet, so that they're not 3 or 4 feet maybe, because they don't grow that big if they trim them, but we don't want them growing into the wall either.
Okay.
Is the board considering any of the standard conditions from our regular conditions list?
Yeah, I think so.
Construction hours?
Yep.
I think,
Monday through Friday,
is this in an Asian Laguna Beetle quarantine area?
It is not.
Okay, so all of but 6. 5. You want, the bottom is a list of our standard conditions.
It changed color.
Yeah,
Touched up a couple of minor,
we like the green
Organizations.
ones.
Yeah.
Because
I
then
like
we
them
knew
too.
it was that you did something.
We already
On the
talked
bottom,
about-
site plan approval? Yeah.
yes, it'd be 1 through 5. Plus the submission of the plan that it shows that landscape.
Maybe we should give
So the
the,
only thing is that the as-built plan, so you'd want an as-built of the, I guess, the patio? Well, we already have the site survey, but he's looking for an as-built of the patio?
This is kind of a case where it would be. Makes sense. Would you be submitting one for your final of the building permits anyways, right?
Well, I don't think we'd be doing any building anything outside for the patio. But we do have this plan. We just surveyed this like last month.
We should have a plan that shows what the patio is gonna look like.
Yeah, so we'll get that.
On that, we really should.
Yeah, I can see where this as-built probably wouldn't be necessary, because it's there, and unless there's any unforeseen changes, you have to come back to the board anyway.
We should show a plan of what the patio will look like added onto the building, doesn't have to get the whole building.
Okay, which would be Woody's.
Yeah,
submitted,
that's
right?
what we have already.
yeah, just
So conditions.
expand the view, that's all.
So it's conditions 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4.
All right, and then the condition about the landscaping, so.
Is that a motion?
Okay, and the condition, yeah,
So, I think Ronnie made the motion,
yeah, I'll second it
okay?
with those additions.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great, thank you.
How long is it gonna take you to finish it?
Quick, it'll be open,
Alright.
try to get it in this, by October, next month or so.
99, I think, in the weekend.
Yeah.
I will have this decision drafted soon. I'll send the draft over to you. The board will sign it at their next meeting.
All right, great.
And then there's no appeal period for site plan approval, so it'll be good to go on September 23rd.
All right, great. And I need to get you, how many stamps are these?
Just one for the file.
Okay, one
One for the clerk and one for our file. So
All right,
please.
2 full size. Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck. So if I'm not mistaken, Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, but the board discussion, town meeting, October 27th, related to the zoning bylaw draft, so it's kind of already been discussed.
Yes, just for point of order, just a motion to continue our zoning bylaw draft discussion as I pointed out to our next meeting.
Okay.
Just vote to continue.
Get a motion to continue the application to our next meeting.
Yep, that was for the zoning bylaw draft.
Wouldn't we be continuing to the meeting on the 6th?
This one, we can still talk about the draft at our next meeting. Unless you want to table it until the moratorium's finished.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
So,
So,
I would, what do you think?
I'm wondering if, because this hearing is particular to a zoning bylaw draft, and we're going to need a new hearing for a moratorium, perhaps this hearing could close. I'm not sure.
I mean, it's not going in front of town meeting. Yeah, I suppose we could do that. That makes sense. I mean,
Is there,
we're gonna end up having to re-advertise it anyways, so we can have
for
a
the
discussion.
moratorium, right?
Well,
So what are you saying?
For our own discussion. Actually, it doesn't have to be a public hearing for that. We can have our own internal discussion. I see what you're saying. So we can still continue talking about this at our next meeting, keep it on as a discussion, but it doesn't have to be in the form of a public hearing, if we're not putting the draft.
So you want a motion to close the hearing for the zoning bylaw draft?
And then followed by a vote of no action. If the board wants to do that. Because then we can keep it on discussion,
and followed by what?
a vote of no action.
I'll make that motion.
There's 2 motions, right?
Yeah,
Well,
so
the
it's
first one's a motion to close the hearing, which you
Second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
And then it'd be a motion to take no action on the zoning bylaw draft.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
All right.
thanks, guys. I'll keep it on as a discussion item so we can continue working the draft.
Okay. There's no update on the video conferencing selection hearing for September 28th. And the village district overlay maps, I'll let Matt address. There's 2 in our packet.
Alright, so we'll Before we get to that, the CMRPC, who made their presentation last meeting, would like to schedule our site visit as a board. Some of our other boards do these more often as a group, but if the planning board is interested to perform a site visit with CMRPC, the following dates are available. That would be Saturday, September 12th,
Springfield.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Saturday, October
And
17th.
they only do it on a Saturday?
This is all he's proposed so far. I think the reason being is because a lot of the other boards do their site visits on Saturdays. We haven't typically scheduled any. That's something we do have to work. The two other dates were made available, Saturday, October 3rd, but the energy fair is that day, so neither Eric or myself can be available. And Saturday, October 10th is Columbus Day weekend,
So the 17th?
so Saturday, October 17th is the next available.
I don't have my schedule for October yet.
Can we decide that at the next meeting? Say tentatively the 17th and decide at the next meeting?
Sure.
Everybody agree with that?
Yeah.
Alright, signatures, 209 Washington Street.
This was I'll have to get the other two members on their own time. But this was for the site lighting plan at Penske. Last meeting.
That was site plan approval modification.
Troy. Who's your primary?
Wow.
Don't get mixed up with the trash.
Alright.
Thank you, sir.
I suggest we defer the minutes until we have more of the board here to review.
How many do you need?
Wendy's usually our chief proofreader. Yeah.
She should have been.
Does anybody want to make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That was easy.
Alright. And then we have a letter from Gallo Builders. If Matt wants to address that.
Sure. So, the board requested a report from Gallo Builders for the Bryn Mawr Estate subdivision, I believe in July. Because it had been 1 year elapsed time since our last update. So they provided us a response, details regarding some of the subject matter that we mentioned at our
When
last
did
meeting.
you send that home, man?
We sent that in July, it was via email. So we asked how many homes have been completed to date. They've completed 15, and that there are 11 lots remaining. That 5 of the homes were completed since July 1st of last year. That was our last update. And they weren't able to ascertain a completion date for the entire project because of the market and home sales, given the value of the homes we're building. And they also brought up, we asked about some erosion control issues that were brought up in the past, and they brought to our attention that they believe that some of the issues are on town property for the town system to be maintained by DPW. Some of the comments being that the siltation wasn't caused by their development, so on and so forth.
No, it can't.
Recommending that to remediate some of these concerns from residents that the town do their repair on the.
No, it went uphill
System.
off of Bryn Mawr Avenue.
Well, I think, and I haven't spoken to Bill Coyle on this yet, but I believe that the town hasn't acted on their system because there's still construction site upgrading it, and in the meantime,
What system are we supposed to upgrade? Sewer system?
I guess there's some catch
Drainage
basins
system?
that
Catch basin system?
need some flushing, cleaning.
Flushing?
Yeah,
Who,
at least
yeah.
maintenance.
if it's not a town road, he still owns the catch basins.
Well, it's on the town road
It's
portion.
on the lower end of Briar Cliff, I think.
Is that
Came
lower
from up
section?
above and went down into, remember when they flooded the basements and we got all the
With
sand?
sewerage, yeah, I remember that,
There was, I think there was a lot of silt and sand too.
yeah.
That filled up the catch basins. So
So,
they created it. I think I'd suggest that we refer it to Bill and then see what he says.
Yeah. I think it's
And
also,
dependent on that, maybe have him, invite him to a meeting and have Bill here too if he could be.
I also think it's good practice for us to ask the town engineer to review the outstanding bonds in place on standing subdivision plans, and I'd ask that we have Bill take a look at that as well. And-
See if there's enough left.
Yeah.
I think there wasn't there 90,000,
Oh,
70 or 90,000 bucks in there?
I saw almost 300, but that was in 2009 when we first
No, I
took it
think
over.
we might have released.
Okay,
I'm
I'll
not
have to
sure.
look more into it.
Alright.
I saw a bulldozer with trees going up through the tracks, so that hadn't been moved in quite a while.
Okay, so is that,
Yeah, the following one.
can I make a motion?
To do what?
To request that Bill Coyle review
Oh, okay. I'll make
the
a
letter
motion, yeah.
and also review the outstanding bond.
Yep, yeah, I'll make that.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
And I'll ask Bill and the builder to attend the next meeting.
Paul Revere Road acceptance, we already discussed.
Yes.
Okay, so that correspondence is been discussed, and then letter to 783 Southbridge Street, site plan approval waiver.
It's correspondence. When it's a waiver of site plan approval, I don't have to draft a decision, it's still under the applicant.
Entertain a motion to
Adjourn.
adjourn.
I'll make that.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
As I said the last meeting, we could have had this whole thing done for nothing.